You feel it before you can name it. A dull ache behind the eyes, a heaviness in your limbs that wasn't there yesterday. Your throat starts to scratch, and almost immediately, without thinking, you reach for something. You search for relief. But here is the part that stops most people cold. That instinct you just felt is not modern. It is not even close to modern. It is ancient. And the story of what your ancestors actually did when that feeling hit them is far stranger, far more sophisticated, and far more human than you have ever been told. For most of human history, sickness was not just a physical event. It was a signal. When your ancestor 50,000 years ago felt that same heaviness, the explanation they reached for had nothing to do with bacteria or viruses. Those concepts did not exist yet. What existed instead was a world alive with intention, and illness meant something had gone wrong between you and that world. This is not primitive thinking. This is what happens when extraordinarily intelligent minds try to solve a problem without the tools we take for granted. And some of the solutions they found are things modern medicine is only beginning to understand. The first thing your ancient ancestor did when they got sick was tell someone, not a doctor. They told the group, because in a world of 20 to 50 people moving across a landscape together, your illness was never a private matter. It was a collective problem. Your sickness was shared before it was treated. Researcher Robin Dunbar at Oxford found that social bonding and physical healing are not separate systems in the human body. They share circuitry. The same neurochemical processes that make you feel safe and connected also suppress inflammation, regulate cortisol, and accelerate recovery from infection. When your ancient ancestors gathered around a sick person and stayed close, they were not just being kind. They were administering medicine. The medicine was presence itself. And then came the plants. The botanical knowledge embedded in ancient cultures is staggering. A 2019 study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology documented over 11,000 plant species used medicinally across traditional cultures worldwide. Many of these uses trace back thousands of years. Neanderthals were already doing this. In Shanidar cave in Iraq, a burial site contained remains surrounded by pollen from yarrow and ephedra. Yarrow has anti-inflammatory properties. Ephedra is the source of ephedrine, still used today in decongestants. The plants are real. Their properties are real. And their presence in that grave is not an accident. Picture your ancestor, feverish and aching, lying inside a shelter of bent branches and animal hides. Around them, roots are being crushed. Bark is being stripped from a tree used for this same purpose for 10 generations. The person treating them learned this from their parent, who learned it from their parent. The formula was tested not in a laboratory, but in the only laboratory that ever truly mattered: the survival of the people who used it. But the treatment was never just physical. The healer was not just a herbalist. They were a psychological technician. Researcher Ted Kaptchuk at Harvard Medical School spent decades studying what happens inside the body when a person believes they are being healed. His findings are measurable. When a patient believes their treatment will work, their body produces endorphins, reduces cortisol, and increases immune cell activity. These are not small effects. Your ancient ancestors did not know this in those terms, but they knew it in practice. The ritual around the medicine was part of the medicine. The chanting, the fire, the community gathered watching and witnessing. All of it was activating the exact same neural pathways that Kaptchuk's team would later measure with electrodes and blood panels. Then there was water. Across virtually every ancient culture ever studied, water and heat played a central role in healing. Hot springs, steam baths, river immersion, the sweat lodge traditions of indigenous North American cultures, the hammam traditions of the ancient Near East. Researcher Mark Tully at the University of New Mexico studied sweat lodge practices among Pueblo communities and found that participants showed measurable reductions in cortisol, lowered blood pressure, and increased white blood cell counts. The heat expands blood vessels. The steam opens airways. The sweat carries toxins outward. And the shared experience of sitting inside a small, dark enclosure with others activated the same social bonding chemistry that Dunbar identified. The ritual is doing real things to the body. It always was. You still do versions of this without thinking. You take a hot shower when you feel awful. You make tea. You curl under blankets. You are not being irrational. You are running a program older than language. There is something else ancient humans understood that we quietly forgot. Rest. Genuine, socially protected rest. In most hunter-gatherer cultures, a sick person was excused from all contribution to the group for the duration of their illness. No guilt, no productivity anxiety. The group absorbed their labor because the group understood that recovery required stillness. You likely know what it feels like to push through illness, to take something that suppresses the symptoms and return to your obligations. There is an irony here. The fever, the fatigue, the loss of appetite, these are not the illness. They are the immune system doing exactly what it evolved to do. The fever raises your core temperature to kill pathogens. The fatigue forces you to stop and redirect energy inward. Your ancient ancestor, lying still while the group hunted without them, was doing something medically correct. Your immune system is still running that same ancient program. It still wants what it wanted 50,000 years ago. Rest, warmth, presence. Plants with compounds your body knows how to use because it evolved alongside them. The problem is that the world you live in now makes all of those things difficult to find. So tonight, when you feel that familiar heaviness setting in, when your throat starts to scratch and your eyes start to ache, notice what you reach for first. Notice what your body wants before your brain overrides it. It probably wants warmth. It probably wants stillness. It probably wants someone nearby. Those are not weaknesses. Those are not primitive impulses you should suppress. Those are instructions written into your biology by 300,000 years of humans who got sick, figured out what helped, and passed that knowledge forward in every way they could. You felt it before you could name it. The ache, the heaviness, the instinct to reach for something. You still feel it today. And the truth is, the thing your body is reaching for has not changed at all. It just got harder to find.